Hey guys, it's Connor on Destiny Updates, filling in for David whilst he's away. So let's get straight into the news. Urk and DeeJ did a questions and answers session on the destiny.bungie.org forums, and we're going to read off the 5 most interesting answers. So let's start off with Urk's questions. Urk answers a question about side attractions in Destiny and will they pull players away from the main storyline. Urk says in answer to the question, pull is likely too strong a word to describe whatever falls into the bucket of those things here. Entice or offer might be better. This means they want to entice you to do other activities aside from the main quest and main missions. They don't want to pull you out of your current activity, but they definitely want to entice you to do things that you wouldn't normally do, such as public events or raids. Urk then goes on to answer a question about the user interface in Destiny. He is asked, I believe there was a comment about trying to remove almost any UI in regards to a prompt asking you to approve a public event. Urk answers, there's UI to announce the public event but no loading or lobby to sit through. He says that they're not actively trying to eliminate all UI from the game, but rather trying to ensure that as many actions and activities as possible feel woven into the narrative of the world itself. UI plays a huge role in that, obviously, and in fact down the line I want to show it off as a reveal in and of itself, which isn't a promise but a personal preference. This quote suggests that they are not trying to remove user interface from the game itself, but they want everything to be woven into the narrative of the world. This can mean for a more immersive experience for the user. Since they want everything to be woven into the narrative, could the UI become an in-game feature and be physically in the world rather than a game menu that is overlaid above the game screen? Now on to our second answer from Urk. Urk answered a question about if it's tricky or not to manage a fire team at different stages of the story. He starts by saying story specifics are being saved for a later date. This might mean that we've got more news on Destiny's storyline to come. He then goes on to answer the question by saying, but I will say it will not be tricky to get fire teams playing fun, rewarding content with each other at any given moment, regardless of a lot of various factors you might traditionally have to take into account. He then says he does not want to put big impenetrable barriers in front of friends who want to play with each other. The first bit of news we can glean from this, guys, is that story specifics are being saved for a later date, so there's something to look out for. Secondly, he goes on to say that there are no barriers such as mission barriers or level restrictions restricting friends from playing together. Therefore, you can play with your friends much easier than other MMOs, perhaps promoting cooperative play and fire teams. Now on to our third and last question and answer by Urk. Urk answers a question about facilities in public spaces and social hubs in Destiny. He answers by quoting a features copy of the game, saying, return to the city, Destiny's third-person social space to refuel, repair and rearm before going out on your next adventure. He quoted this and said that reading into this will help you figure out most of the question asked. The question was asking about home space, auction houses, vendors and player guild housing. In the features copy it talks about rearming, repairing and refueling. Now to rearm you would have to purchase ammunition and new weapons, perhaps hinting at shops, services and vendors, maybe even an auction house and other facilities for repairing and refueling. The features copy does not mention player guild housing, but perhaps that will come later given that they're going to make a big deal about these social spaces, as Urk says, as he promises to make a lot of noise about social spaces as soon as we can. Now on to 2 answers by DeeJ. DeeJ answers a question about Destiny's story and the character's influence on it. He starts by saying Destiny will have a rich, story-driven experience that we think will satisfy your appetite for an engaging narrative. He says Destiny is a first-person shooter set in a world filled with mysterious and bold characters. The main difference, of course, is that you're going to have the option to make these discoveries in real time, with other players of the game. This does not mean that other players will have the chance to lead you astray, or have a negative impact on your own story arc. So that was DeeJ saying that Destiny is going to have a rich, story-driven experience. Your story arc cannot be affected by other players, although I think that given Destiny's cooperative focus, you will be able to progress together with your friends. Now on to our final question and answer by DeeJ. He answers the question, I live for the deep, the profound, will I be satisfied with your game's universe? He starts with saying that E3 did not show the full extent of the Destiny story-driven experience, and even going as far as to say that the E3 deliverance was light on story, so there is a lot more on the story side to come. DeeJ finishes by saying that Destiny will have an underlying mystery that drives you forward and keeps you interested and asking a lot of questions. That's all the news we have for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I also do Star Wars Battlefront news on my channel, and there's an annotation at the end and also a link in the description, so please check that out if you're interested. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next update.